Cardano's premier fiat-backed stablecoin, also known as USDM, has just announced a major partnership with Norwegian Block Exchange, one of the top exchanges when it comes to Norway. As a part of today's video, I want to dive into all the details surrounding this brand new partnership, as well as give you guys an update as to where the team stands when it comes to retail adoption. What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. Today, we've got some breaking news with the USDM stablecoin, which is a fiat-backed stablecoin built and launched on Cardano, expanding into the European region. Now, this is with a partnership with NBX, a Norwegian-based crypto exchange. As a part of today's video, I want to dive into that particular partnership, what this means for USDM. There's also some updates when it comes to fee reduction for minting and burning. In closing, I want to review the current reserves for USDM, as well as talking about where the team stands when it comes to retail adoption or retail onboarding. As always, if you do enjoy updates like these, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, then make sure to leave them down below. If you want to take things a step further, consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Now, to kick off this update, if you aren't already subscribed to the weekly newsletter coming in from the USDM team, I definitely urge you to go ahead and do so. I'll leave the link to that down below. But once per month, we get a direct update sent to our inboxes about what's going on with USDM. So it states here, USDM is coming to Europe. We're excited to announce our partnership with Norwegian Block Exchange, or NBX for short, to make Cardano's premier stablecoin available throughout the EU. Now, there's a regulatory piece to this as well with MiCA, or Markets in Crypto Assets, which I want to quickly touch on and exactly what that means for this particular partnership in the e-money license that NBX holds. Now, NBX is the leading crypto service provider in the Nordics, and they've entered into an agreement to allow NBX to be the exclusive official European issuer of USDM. As it stands right now, the Mahen team themselves are the only official issuers of USDM, I believe within 17 states in the United States right now. Now, they're working to get more states on board, and as we continue to expand here in the USA, they're also looking to go global, having issuers or USDM minters all around the world. So this is just their first expansion out of the US. Now, I've got a couple of additional things I want to quickly touch on here, but then we'll move the conversation forward. So if it's your first time hearing about NBX, of course, they're a centralized crypto exchange, so very similar to Coinbase, Kraken, MEXC that we have here within the United States. But right now, they have, if I'm not mistaken, over 32,000 users, and they were established back in early of 2020. So they've been around for a little bit of time, again, quite a bit of users, and they have over $100 million worth of trading volume taking place on the exchange. Now, compared to some of the exchanges here in the United States, that is a little bit on the lower end. However, if you're looking at just that particular region, or Norway specifically, they are one of the top exchanges, again, with an EMI or a e-money license. Now, the e-money license allows for them to essentially custody and issue different types of crypto assets, one of them being stablecoins. In addition, they've launched their brand new NBX Visa credit card, which provides security, convenience, as well as an in-house or a native application. So that's just a little bit of information surrounding NBX themselves. I do want to jump back into the article here, and then I want to talk a little bit more about the regulatory side of the equation. But jumping back in here, it states that as we expand our footprint in the United States, NBX will issue and redeem USDM throughout the EU under their European e-money regulations in compliance with MiCA. So I took a closer look here, and NBX was granted their e-money license back on January 25th of 2024. So just a couple of months old. Now, I just want to quickly highlight two small pieces here where it reads, on the 22nd of January, we, Norwegian Block Exchange, or NBX, have received our startup permit for a license as an e-money institution from the Norwegian Financial Supervisory Authority. An e-money institution license empowers NBX to offer and provide services that are reserved for traditional financial institutions, including payment and transfer services. Again, I've talked about the EMI license specifically when it comes to MELD, a banking and lending protocol. And this is huge. From a exchange's perspective, this gives them a lot of regulatory clarity that they wouldn't have otherwise, and also allows for them to partake in different services that they otherwise would not be able to participate in. So this is huge. And this is essentially what the USDM team is able to use when partnering with NBX in order to have them mint and issue USDM in the European regions. Now, I want to jump back in here and I want to quickly touch on a couple of other pieces here. But before I do that, I want to also quickly touch on MiCA. So MiCA stands for Markets in Crypto Assets. And this is essentially a piece of regulation or a piece of regulatory clarity for any sort of crypto-based protocol or service operating in the European region. Now, this has 4 separate objectives, and I'll leave the link to this down below. But objective number 1 is to provide a legal framework for crypto assets. Number 2 is to establish a set of rules for crypto asset services. Number 3 is to become the primary legislation for crypto companies to follow. And then last but not least, this also aims to establish specific rules around stablecoins. So as you can see there, that very last piece touching and relating directly with the collaboration with USDM. Now, if I jump back over into the article, there is another piece here when it comes to fee cuts. So right now, there is no fee induced when you're minting USDM. However, you do have to pay a minor fee. I believe it's 1.5% of the entire amount that you're burning, or when you're converting on-chain USDM and converting that or burning that and sending that to a fiat-based bank account. So it states here, we're working on arrangements with our banking partners that will allow for us to cut our burn fees by nearly half. I spoke about this a while back. Again, just to put this into perspective, if I jump back over here, we have the USDM fee structure. Let's say that you are minting 1,000 USDM. That's done completely free. But if you then want to go ahead and take that and bring that back to your bank account, you have to burn that USDM. So in this example, you have to pay a 1% fee out of the total amount that you're burning. So if you're burning $1,000, you will basically be paying $15 as a fee for the actual burning process. So cutting that down in half would be somewhere around $7.5 as opposed to that $15. And of course, keep in mind, the more that you're minting, the higher that fee will be. Again, it's always proportional, but it's that 1.5%. Now, the minimum burn fee is always set to $50. So even if you are just minting $1,000 or burning $1,000, even though that only incurs a $15 fee, if you take that 1.5%, they do have a minimum amount. So it'll be interesting to see if they also reduce the minimum amount, in addition to also cutting the fee down in half to somewhere around 0.75%. That will do it there for that particular piece. Let's jump back into the article here. As we get ready to close things down, they do quickly talk about the retail side of the equation as well. So right now, we only have KYC available for institutional investors or businesses. And that has been, in my opinion, why we haven't seen as much USDM minted as you'd like to see. I'll take a look at the reserves in just a moment, but I think we have a little bit close or a little bit under $250,000 minted. But once we have the ability for retail to come in there, connect their own bank account and mint USDM, I do hope and I do believe that we'll see more and more liquidity being locked up in this particular stablecoin. So it states here, as with everything we do, we're currently working hard to make sure we've got the retail user experience right for the very first time. Again, I do think that it's best to measure twice and cut once. And so, yes, this has taken a little bit longer, but we want to make sure that this experience is as bug-free and as smooth as possible to maintain confidence and trust in the USDM team and the service that they provide. In closing, I do want to quickly jump over into the C3 Oracle feed. I'll leave the link to this down below, but as you can see there, we have $240,000 worth of USDM currently available, and that's what's been minted so far by some of these businesses. Now, what does this mean for the partnership with NBX? Of course, this opens up a huge sort of on-ramp for businesses, institutional investors, as well as retail from that particular area to also come on board and mint USDM. So I think this is going to be huge in terms of adding and providing more liquidity to USDM. And I'm also wondering if there's going to be a way for people to use their euro or whatever fiat they have within that European region to then have that actually be converted over to USDM. So imagine somebody onboarding their euros into a bank account, that being translated over to USD, and then that being used to purchase the USDM token and minting that on chain. Maybe that's exactly why they've actually partnered with NBX, is to allow for them to do all the minting and just the issuing right within that particular region. But again, we're going to hopefully get more details, and I'll hopefully be able to sit down with Matthew Plowman and the NBX team for a full interview breaking everything down. So if you have any questions so far about this partnership, make sure to go ahead and leave that down below. Now, in closing here, I do want to just quickly reiterate here that Mahan Finance, or the LLC, is the sole issuer right now within the US, in that this agreement basically gives NBX the ability to mint and issue USDM given their e-money license. So it states here, Mahan Finance LLC owns the rights to USDM and conducts the issuance and redemption in the USA, while NBX will do the same for the European part of the business. Now, this agreement leverages their e-money license, which NBX hold and aligns with Mahan's strategy of being regulated and licensed with global coverage. Last but not least, USDM currently serves nearly 50% of the population on its roadmap to regulatory compliance within 12 months. So again, pretty big update here. I want to take a minute to quickly highlight what's going on here with NBX, what's going on with USDM and Mahan, and then where we stand with updates when it comes to their fees and retail adoption. Hopefully you guys found this particular update to be helpful. If you did, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, breaking down everything going on in Cardano, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me about anything I've talked about as a part of today's video, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.